Beryl's landfall imminent. Hi, folks. I'm Chief Meteorologist Chris Justus, keeping you up to date on Beryl and where it's heading. We are keeping a close watch on it. It is going to continue to be a very dangerous storm as it moves toward the west, and landfall will happen. I'm going to map out the possible 4 landfall locations that Beryl could make, plus look closer at what could be another hurricane making a very similar path in a matter of days. Hi, everybody. I'm Chief Meteorologist Chris Justus, your trusted weather expert. Please, if you don't already subscribe to this channel, do so right now. I provide early warnings of severe weather. I've been talking about Beryl when it was just a wave. I give you a reliable forecast you can count on that's accurate and a direct approach you won't find anywhere else. I'm going to shoot you straight, tell you when it's time to be concerned and when it's time to just wait and watch. And right now, we're in the alert category where you're watching right now in the Caribbean islands. Right now, the Windward Islands under the gun for some of the worst weather. This is we're talking September, October type environments in the tropics right now with as warm as it is, and we've got a record-breaking early system. Let's get right to it and show you what's happening across the area, because as I watch this storm system, I'm telling you it's firing on all cylinders. It is one to watch here. So Barbados, St. Vincent and the Grenadines down to Grenada, I'm afraid you're going to be taking the worst of it tonight. Please, before you go to bed tonight, folks, say an extra prayer for those folks down there. And if you're watching right now, please do everything you can to stay safe, okay? Listen to your government officials. Have a way to get to safety, because this storm is unlike anything we have seen, especially this early. So from Grenada to St. Vincent and the Grenadines to Barbados, the winds are already picking up. Some of those outer bands are arriving. Conditions are going to continue to get worse tonight into tomorrow, where I think the peak of it for Barbados will be around 10 a.m. For St. Vincent and the Grenadines, around noon to around 1 o'clock p.m. Okay, so watching this for you, then it spills into the Caribbean, excuse me. Let me show you all the different scenarios, because the hurricane hunters have been flying around in this, and they've got a good idea of where they think the system is going to go. And this hurricane hunter data gives us crucial information. One, they've continued to find Category 4 strengths in and around this eye wall. 2, they've found pressure as low as 960. This is an extremely powerful storm system. This would be one of the really powerful storm systems for the middle of August or September. And that eye wall, just kind of x-raying the eye wall here, taking a look at it as it approaches some of those outer islands. You've got that peak, or that worst of the conditions, just to the north side of it. The northeast quadrant's always the worst, and that's what we're seeing happen right now with this outline. These are the Category 4 strengths, Category 3 strength, Category 2, Category 1, and then tropical storm force winds go at about 100 miles per hour, 100 miles out. So this is expected to be a Cat 4 at landfall later tonight into tomorrow through the Windward Islands. Leeward Islands is still going to be a rough night for you. Seas are up 10, 15 feet, some windy conditions, some outer bands, but nothing like the southern islands right here. You get into the Caribbean, this is still a Cat 3. It's marching to the west. A second landfall looks likely in Jamaica. Okay, that's landfall number 2. This would likely be Wednesday. Category 2, Category 3 hurricane. Then it marches on toward Cancun, where it could take a direct hit of a Cat 1, Cat 2, and this would be toward the 4th of July, the 5th of July. Then it continues west into the Bay of Campeche. Once it's there, tropical storm, Cat 1 hurricane, could make a 4th landfall some here in Mexico. That's what the latest track shows. What do the models show? Let me show you that. All right, as we look closer at this, the different model data, each line represents our models, and you can see they're in great agreement here until you get here toward the Bay of Campeche. All right, some of them are trending toward the southern end, some of them are toward the northern and give Texas some rain, but all of them are significantly weaker. Let me show you that. I mean, in my 20 years of forecasting hurricanes, I have never seen such consistency in the models. Here you are. That's a good thing. If there's a silver lining in all this, is we know where it's going. Again, Windward Islands, Jamaica, Cancun, Yucatan Peninsula, and then Texas or Mexico. All right, weaker by here. Cat 4, Cat 2, Hurricane Category 1, tropical storm. That's the way it's shaping up right now. You add in a few of the tropical models, you get a little more spread, but still that westward kind of pace is where it's heading. Maintaining Cat 4 strength, then crashing down. Continue to see the models, tropical models kind of thrown in here. Basically, all of them show a downward trend. Sometimes you can get a system that's out in the open waters to re-strengthen back up. You get an eye wall replacement cycle, but this is having some land interaction. It's getting into an area that's a little bit more hostile for hurricanes, so it should go in its downward trend, but unfortunately, it's going to be too late for the Caribbean islands. It's going to make landfall as that Cat 4. Here's the GFS model plots, all of them put together along with the different ensembles, generally all of them in good agreement here with Windward Islands, Jamaica, Yucatan Peninsula, into Mexico. Let's show you a couple different things, and I want to get to that secondary hurricane because as we look closer at this, SHIP's model, an agreement with the National Hurricane Centers, 4 to 3 to 2 to a 1 on approach to Mexico. All right, so what does this look like at landfall? And please, folks, if you will, comment where you're watching from right now. So St. Vincent and the Grenadines over 100 miles per hour, but look at the scale here. I mean, you just go up an island, right up the island chain. Those winds go from tropical storm to hurricane to major hurricane status in just a matter of a couple of islands here. That's what a hurricane will do, folks. And that northern quadrant, which is technically the eastern side, if you look at it, if you're the hurricane facing west, that's technically the right side. The right side's always the worst side. So as this thing's moving west, that northeast quadrant is the worst side. So that's where it's going to go. Where does it go after that? It goes into the Caribbean. Jamaica would be next. Yucatan Peninsula. Bay of Campeche. Then back into Mexico. So 1, 2, 3, 4 landfalls possible from Beryl. European model, along with the GFS model, pretty similar here. Rainfall totals for Jamaica could be over 15 inches. Unfortunately, Jamaica could have some significant flooding out of this. Let's look closer at that other invest. Now, it's going to be a race to see, do we get Tropical Storm Chris here in the Bay of Campeche, or do we get it deeper into the Atlantic? Either way, this is still a rainmaker and has been for Belize, you folks in Yucatan Peninsula region of Mexico, and now it's moving inland of Mexico. But we need to watch Invest 96. It, too, is going to take a very similar path. This is not Beryl's track. This is 96L's track. Could be Chris, could be Debbie. Just depends on if we get a little cheap shot name out of that activity in the Gulf. If we do, this system's going to continue to track west. Goes in the Caribbean and tracks over to the west. All right, secondary system, not Beryl. This is a second hurricane. Track on it. Pretty similar, almost island by island for these areas. And then you continue to see these hurricane-producing models and the main operational models continuing to show a westward track out of that. How about the intensity? Well, it's not Beryl. You have to remember, a hurricane brings water up from the bottom of the ocean. It's a powerful mechanism. And as it brings that water up, it's called upwelling. It brings in colder water to the surface, and hurricanes need 80 degrees or more. You bring in and introduce colder water from the bottom, the secondary or conditions behind it are going to be like driving in the wake of a boat and not going to be conducive for much of anything. So, yeah, Tropical Storm Cat 1 looks to be on course here. Even the more aggressive SHIP's model takes it up to Cat 1 and kind of levels it back off. There's one or two of the HWRF models here that want to take it way up, but it's an outlier. You see the majority of them are tropical storm right behind this system. So yes, we could get a tropical storm, and yes, it could take a very similar path. Okay, it gets into a hostile environment here in the Caribbean and the Atlantic, so even if it does get close to the United States down the road, it looks to be weak right now. All right, what do the models show? Let's kind of look at that. All right, here comes Beryl. This European model shows same story. Windward Islands, tonight, tomorrow morning. Jamaica, Wednesday. Really going downhill Wednesday. Approaching Cancun, Thursday, July 4th. Leaving Cancun July 6th. And then getting back into Mexico July 8th. How about that secondary system? Keep your eye on that back system. It doesn't really develop much on the European. Doesn't really develop much at all. How about all the different runs of the GFS? All right, timing-wise here for you. Tonight into tomorrow for the Windward Islands. Out into the open Caribbean after that. Jamaica is next on Wednesday. Yucatan Peninsula is Thursday, Friday, Cancun area, and back into Mexico. Or some of the models are saying Texas. But they're saying 1,005 lows. Those are weak tropical systems, maybe even just a low pressure system. This big dome of high pressure responsible for the heat wave across the southeast, steering this to the west. What do the European runs of the model say? Let's map that out for you. Again, Monday, Windward Islands. Wednesday, Jamaica. Thursday night, Friday for the Yucatan Peninsula. And then going to the west, Texas and or Mexico. Weaker, but Sunday night, Monday, a week from today. So we've got a week and a day to track that as it moves on toward the east. But folks, it is a rough night here in the Caribbean. Tonight into tomorrow, you can see some of those islands already in the picture right here as it continues to move on through these areas. We got to watch it. I mean, we've got to watch this closely as these areas are going to continue to see impacts from this monster hurricane. I'm going to pause it right here and just show you. Look at that. Look at that eye wall. Symmetrical. Completely symmetrical. And then this high top right here. Those are the most volatile, violent storms with over 100 mile per hour winds. Right there on that east-northeast quadrant wrapping around. There's Trinidad and Tobago. You go up here towards St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Grenada. I mean, this is a rough night. Barbados going to take a northern, right on the north side of it. I mean, this is going to be a rough night for these folks. And I want you to know we'll be keeping on watching it here for you. So, folks, if you're new to my channel, if you're just now tuning in, I am a meteorologist with 20 years experience on television. I would be grateful if you would follow my page if you like this video. And again, please let me know where you're watching from. That really helps me out. Turn on notifications as we go through hurricane season. I'll continue to update you as I see fit, as I see different threats. I'm a straight shooter. I mean, that's one thing that growing up a farmer's son, we don't mess around. We don't have time to mess around, right? So when it comes to a threat, I'm going to tell you it's a threat. I'm not going to just hide it from you, but I'm also not going to cry wolf. I'm going to sit here and tell you when it's time to be concerned and when it's not. And right now we're waiting and watching across, western parts of the Caribbean, the United States even. We're just waiting and watching. We're not concerned. We're not canceling plans right now. But if you're in Cancun, if you're in Jamaica, and especially in the Windward Islands right now, it's go time. It is go time right now. This is a powerful, dangerous storm, and my prayers are with you for everybody in the path. I will keep you posted. Thank you for watching, and hope you have a good night.